Season of Discovery Phase 8, it has been a roller coaster. We've seen the good, the bad, the feels like retail. But what if the frustrations of the phase are actually lighting the path forward? What if the community already has the answers? Today we're not just talking about problems, we're talking about solutions too. Real fixes for SoD that could and maybe should become the blueprint for Classic Plus. We're diving into hard modes, game-changing PvP rewards, and the return of heroic dungeons. The raid difficulty debate has definitely split the community. As some players, they want the brutal challenges, and they have the guild infrastructure for time-consuming progression raiding. A lot of other players, though, they just want to chill and they just want to blast. So why can't Blizzard offer both options at the same time? The next Ramus model in SoD, it did give us that taste. The multiple difficulties, more loot, tougher mechanics, at least for those who opted in. As Para points out, if you wanted a bigger challenge, more rewards, the impressive mounts, Nax gave you that option with 4 different difficulties. Having just run an Axbug last night, I can say that these systems are still paying dividends. We can push our limits in a hard mode 3, for example, we rack up loot, and if, say, Lotheb is a brick wall, we just swap it down to hard mode 2 and we can still finish the raid. Scarlet Enclave, though, it doesn't offer any such option. One size fits all, which means if your group gets stuck on Solastraza, which they often do, or Council, or Voss, or Calderan, you disband and you get absolutely nothing for your time. Of course, hard modes have significant drawbacks in that they really do split the player base. Some players, they really only enjoy parsing and competing for top damage, and splitting the player base 2 ways, or even 4 ways, it can really take a lot away from that. And I can also see a Gren's vision of a community that's all working on the exact same challenge, exchanging notes, exchanging tips, progressing together. That is something you really don't get in retail these days, with the player base split between LFR, normal, heroic, and the mythics too. What is your take on the idea of having a single raid difficulty versus multiple hard modes? I'll start the debate in the comments. Now let me propose a solution for Scarlet Enclave, one that could be implemented right now. A dual track system. Imagine Scarlet Enclave, but it's tuned for 20 players and for Nax gear instead of what we got. It'd be clearable, rewarding, focused on mechanics instead of insane DPS checks. That way you wouldn't have to swap in 6 Boomkins and Shadow Priests just to clear the raid. Then if you want to take things up a level, you can always activate hard mode if you want to. In hard mode, you're getting tougher mechanics, tighter tuning, but unique rewards too. Oh, maybe like Jack Robson mentioned, you could use something like Righteous Orbs to activate the hard modes. You know, a fun currency. That could be good. You could always also take Tier 3.5's unique visual look up a level with crazy cool adornments, or unique weapon glows. That's pretty cool, right? And that way progression guilds still have their challenge, average guilds can clear in gear, and nobody feels left behind or forced into content beyond their capacity. It respects players' time, and it respects players' choice too. Now let's talk PvP, and for many, as Karasis put it, Phase 8 feels like raid or go home. PvP gear, it's barely a thing anymore, everyone just rolls into BGs with Scarlet Enclave gear. BGs themselves feel unrewarding, and the passion for PvP is unfortunately dwindling. But when did Season of Discovery become synonymous with just new raids? What if PvP wasn't just a side hustle, but a viable path to power and prestige too? GamerTyper lays out a fantastic vision, using marks from Battlegrounds and coins from Blood Moon to buy meaningful rewards. Imagine PvPing to earn raid consumes like Holy Protection Potions, Frozen Runes, DPS raid consumes. Raid-relevant enchants would be great too. I'm not saying give us free Nax Biz shoulder enchants in the Blood Moon vendor, sorry Brian, unless they're really expensive. But imagine taking your Battleground marks or your Blood Moon coins and getting enchanting recipes like Living Stats. Or you go for something like Huge Emeralds, True Silver Bars, those expensive Ashbringer mats. You don't have to add in unique new faction-themed gear or new mounts, but I bet PvP participation would still skyrocket. Now, speaking of PvP fixes though, a very interesting document has been circulating in the community, supposedly detailing potential upcoming PvP and class tuning for SoD. I have to stress, this is unconfirmed, a community finding, and it's not official patch notes. Treat this as a rumor, but the ideas within are still fascinating and align with what many players would like to see for PvP. First, changes to limit chain stuns for items like Might of Menethil, for example, and also a buff for free action potion, making it non-dispellable. Is CC really that big of an issue in PvP right now? I need your insights. More interesting to me is the rumored change where you could turn in 10 battleground marks to get 5 Tarnish Undermine Reals for materials from Pix and Booty Bay. Similarly, you could be able to turn in silver Blood Moon coins, either for much cheaper Blood Moon gear or directly into Tarnish Undermine Reals. Personally, for me, that would be a very cool change, but I'd love to hear if you'd come back if you were literally paid to PvP. Of course, just throwing the population back into PvP without class balancing, it just won't work. So the notes also mention things like Starfall and Killshot PvP damage reduction. Priest Dispersion Healing, great for me. Shaman Riptide, even Purge nerfs, which seem a little crazy. Also, we'd be getting Hunter Pet and Warlock Pet Resilience, and a Mortal Strike Warrior buff. Whether this leak is real, or it's just wishful thinking, it shows the kind of targeted changes PvP desperately needs to feel rewarding and balanced as well. Add a rank 15 with competitive gear, as Karasis has mentioned, and PvP becomes a pillar, not an afterthought. Now, my third Phase 8 fix would be the return of heroics, dungeons that actually matter. Remember when dungeons were more than just a leveling path? Shin is lamenting that nobody's doing SoD endgame dungeons anymore. They're not wrong either. So what if we brought back heroic dungeons? Imagine revamped versions of classic dungeons. Deadmine, Scarlet Monastery, Scholomance, but at max level with tougher mobs, new mechanics, and truly desirable loot. Let's face it, it's very hard to get in those initial raids on a fresh character. Heroics can easily solve that with gear on par with, say, AQ20, early Nax, or even specialized pieces that perfectly complement your raid gear. It would provide a crucial alternative for players who can't commit to extensive raiding, or look at the path for gearing and all and just decide not to bother. A daily heroic lockout system, similar to TBC for example, could provide consistent progression and valuable currencies, valuable items. Heroics would make the world feel completely alive again, reducing the raid or die pressure, and giving all players something meaningful to do in a small group in the endgame. So hard modes, a robust PvP reward system, meaningful heroic dungeons. They're not just fixes for Season of Discovery. These are the foundational pillars for a thriving Classic Plus as well. If Classic Plus is to avoid the pitfalls of SoD Phase 8, the content droughts outside raids, the one true path gearing, the division between the hardcore sweaty players and the casual players, it needs diverse, rewarding systems like these from day one. Phase 8, with all its bumps, could be a terrifying preview of a mismanaged Classic Plus. Or it could be the crucial learning phase that helps Blizzard build something truly legendary. These are some of the big ideas from the community and my takes on how we can fix SoD and build a truly amazing Classic Plus. But what do you think? What is your #1 fix for SoD right now? What are your absolute must-haves for Classic Plus to succeed? Drop your wisdom in the comments below, and let's get this conversation right to Blizzard. If you believe in these fixes, hit the like button, subscribe for more deep dives into the future of Classic WoW, and ring that notification bell. Thank you for watching. Let's hope they're listening.